what's the one number you're looking for this afternoon from Netflix?
Well, it's always going to be the streaming subscriber growth, especially in the U.S. We know that international is going to accelerate. They've provided a guidance which I think seems conservative at this point.
Who is right now? Who's right behind Netflix? Who's their? Who do they see as their competitor? Is it Hulu or is it Amazon?
Well, it's an interesting question because the answer to that question continues to change, right? The market is
HBO Go,
evolving exactly at a very fast rate. Just recently Comcast announced plans to launch their own streaming offering. So you always have Amazon Prime streaming. You have Hulu as well as HBO, CBS. That market is getting intensely competitive, and we expect that to stay.
It's trading at 51 times sales. I look at the financials, and of course, the thing is a moonshot. Up it goes, straight. But Tuna, a lot of people go, how do you value this company if it's not off normal fundamental metrics?
That's right. Well, it's a question that we grapple with all the time, Tom. We look at a number of metrics. Discounted cash flow is always going to be important. But
they're only making EBITDA, single-digit EBITDA. This is not Microsoft.
That's right. We have a peer group of consumer-facing internet companies on a price-to-sales basis. Netflix is trading at a premium to that group, which we believe is increasingly warranted in the context of rapid international growth.
But you talked about international growth. The one number you're looking for today is not in financials, it's in subscriber growth. When do they run out of room to grow in the U.S.?
Well, Bernard, think about it this way. Netflix is only barely scratching the surface of the addressable market. Global, worldwide, broadband households, about 800 million. Today, they're just in about a quarter of those households, so addressable. So we think that there's a lot of headroom left to go.
Tuna, Amobi, Rich Greenfield of BTIG came out with his 10 questions, which he typically does. One of them is, how does Netflix grow ARPU, average revenue per user, given that users are now spending at least 2 hours a day on average, but they're only spending $9 each?
Well, I think the way they grow that is to continue to, add more features. They have a tiered pricing plan now allows for family subscriptions. I think the pricing is one thing that they're very cautious about. If you remember what happened a few years ago, the business model now actually does not take account of a very significant price increase. I think at the current pricing level, they should be continuing to.
But the valuation, they got $6 billion in revenue versus Amazon's $92 billion. Yet they're pretty much valued the same way. Do you have the vision of that $6 billion becoming 10, 20, $40 billion? I can't get there.
Well, I have to tell you, our 12-month target price now is $750. We were actually, I have to admit, a little late in upgrading Netflix from a hold to a buy. When we upgraded them, not too long ago, they were right around $400. Remember, a lot of investors questioning our timing. Now, fast forward today, and that seems to be a very, very...
The market is a discounting mechanism. What are they buying forward besides subscribers or the hope and wish of dominance?
Well, it used to be that Wall Street would have looked at the international business as pretty much, something that you got for free. But that's no longer the case.
To keep growing, do they have to make a new house of cards every year? And if the answer is yes, what does that do to costs?
Well, I think that, right now they're batting, excellent in terms of their original programming strategy. Expect that to ratchet up. I don't think you expect them to have a hit like the House of Cards every single time, although that seems to be, the direction they're moving. With the current content that they have today and more to come, the Disney deal, we think they're in pretty solid shape.
Do you have visibility on that? Do you have visibility on what they're spending in the House of Cards area?
Well, they don't provide that kind of breakout.
Yeah, exactly.
But we do know that their streaming obligations, the content obligations, are escalating.
Why am I going to Amazon Video Library more than Netflix? That's what I've been doing recently.
I don't know, because the user experience on Netflix, for me, is like 10,000 times better.
It is so much better.
Older movies, Tom, maybe.
Well, the companies will be first to tell you that these are not necessarily mutually exclusive services.
Interesting.
And the same subscribers actually have a bundle of different, services.
But the subscribers, are they getting more of their views? Sorry, is Netflix getting more of its views on its original programming or on this massive archive of older stuff?
Well, it's a combination. They've talked about 10 billion streaming hours in Q1. Now, that's 2.5 times where they were just 2 years ago. Yeah. It's kind of hard to parse it at the show level of content, but I think overall there's no doubt that they have kind of a trove of content that's playing very well across all demographics.
Okay, we gotta rip up the script here. Very, very important. There's a massive debate within Standard & Poor's. Do you wear a bow tie like David Blitzer, or do you wear a bow tie like Tom Keene? You've clearly gone with the Blitzer look this morning.
You could split that into seven.
I mean, the Blitzer look is more straight out.
Well, I have to say that you've pretty much set a high standard on bow ties.
We're trying to do it, but I do the more softer look, the sensitive look.
Tom and Tuna have bow ties at their neck.